Welcome to the Village Talks. This is a space where physiology meets lived experience, where we talk honestly about the body, the nervous system, relationships, and the real questions families are asking without fear-based narratives or a one-size-fits-all answer. We're your hosts. I'm Dr. Jamie.
And I'm Dr. Brittany. We're chiropractors, perinatal specialists, and humans who work closely with families through preconception, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and early parenthood. Whether you're preparing for pregnancy, currently pregnant, newly postpartum, raising a little one, or supporting someone who is, you're in the right place.
Let's get into today's conversation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. Today, we are going to be talking about products. If you're online, if you have a social media account, anything like that, the algorithm has probably caught you. If it's heard you talking about pregnancy, postpartum, parenting, all the things. So today, we're going to talk about products that are actually helpful, what you actually will be used, or that are what's actually useful, and then things that you can actually skip and don't need. Yay. I love this conversation.
Yeah. The one upside of my phone constantly communicating and having ads targeted by the phones of the people we spend time around is I'm constantly getting ads for pregnancy products. And
we get to
like
see
that.
What people are actually being targeted for.
Right. And what's
good insight.
Yes. What is being sent to our audiences. And, you know, most of the people that come in and out of the clinic. Yes. That's how the algorithm works. My phone is like, oh, all these people you surround yourself with are searching for these products, so you must want them too. And there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's great, and then there's a lot of stuff that's out there that it's just a gimmick. It's a money grab.
Yep.
You're pregnant.
It's just not really useful and it's overpriced, and you can use that money for a massage or something else.
Yeah. Something else that, more bang for your buck, right?
Yep, totally. So. Yeah. And also too, it's totally changed the landscape as well, I think. Like I don't like thinking that these companies have any type of malice to them, but at the same time, it's like really like Come on.
Every business exists to make money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I just don't like that some, like, especially in this time that we're like slightly preyed upon in pregnancy and postpartum early parenting. And it's like, they make all these targeted ads that speak to all the troubles that you're dealing with. And you're like, oh my God, if I just had this one thing, it will help and save everything. And I'm like, oh,
it's the one pill for every ill, right? Like, are you dealing with these 600 things? Here's the one thing that's going to fix it all. Like, bad news. There isn't one thing that's going to fix it all.
Sometimes it's really helpful. Majority of the time, it's not going to be everything.
Yes. And it might be the one thing that solves one issue for you. Absolutely. And if that is the biggest issue you're facing, then it can be totally worthwhile.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of like kind of the frenzy and the predatory practices around wedding planning, right? Yeah. Like, don't tell anybody you're planning a wedding because your flowers cost twice as much and your cake costs twice as much and everything, it's premium pricing for this premium event where people know like you're going to spend big money because it's such a life-changing thing. Like maybe you're only pregnant once or maybe you're pregnant 10 times, but if it's your first one, you absolutely feel like I need these things. Other people they're telling me I need these things. The ad says I need these things. And so there is kind of some pressure to buy the things. And I would say my biggest one that I'm like, save yourself the money are the really big, expensive pregnancy pillows. Like the fancy shape, there's a J shape and there's a U shape and there's all these other things. And some people will say, I'm sleeping so much better since I got my pillow. Great. Like, I'm glad you're sleeping better. All of the support and the comfort created by those can be done with regular pillows. Can be done with a regular body pillow, to be honest. So if you already have one and you love it, awesome. That was a good spend. If someone gifted you one, but I think the common misconceptions are like this specific shape or brand is absolutely necessary. Which is not true. Or they justify the expense or the investment because they're like, well, I'm going to have more than one kid. Bad news. That pillow is not lasting through more than one pregnancy. They're not high quality. Not that I've seen from the ones that are typically purchased. So a lot of people just end up being kind of disappointed with them.
Yeah, I've had a lot of our clients return them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I got this big U-shaped thing. I thought it was going to be great because like the sell with it is that you don't have to bring your pillow with you when you flop over in the night, right? When you're switching sides, it's easier because all you have to do is roll and all that kind of stuff, but it still doesn't create the support that you really need.
Yeah. And you have to like pull your leg out. Like it's not like you roll over, right? Because one leg is always underneath. So you are having to kind of disentangle yourself a little bit, and they're just really big. So depending on how big is your bed, are you sharing your bed with someone? You know, do you sleep close together? Do you sleep at the edges? Like there's so many things. For some people, they're like, it's me and my husband and our 3 big dogs. Like there's no room for a pillow. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I would say that's kind of the first biggest expense where I hear people have regrets or the product isn't living up to expectations. Yeah.
What can they use instead?
So just a standard like long rectangular body pillow is a good place to start because it fits between your ankles, between your knees. If you want to put it a little bit under your belly, and then you've got something to hug. Yep. And all across the board, regardless of what you're using, you should still be using your regular pillow under your head and neck. Yeah. Right. So they're like some of the U or the J-shaped pillows are like, oh, well, you can put this at the top and get rid of your regular pillow. I'm like, this is not built for neck support. Yeah. We don't need to create a new issue by swapping that out. If you already have a good pillow for your head and neck that you like and is comfortable and you're not waking up with headaches and neck pain, keep that pillow. Totally. And then just kind of a standard body pillow is helpful. Yeah. It can be nice to have another pillow behind your back. Especially third trimester, low back support is really helpful. Yep. Some people I've seen a lot of people, I can't remember the name of it.
The little wedges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I can't remember the name of it.
We'll put that on the product list afterwards.
It's on both sides. So it supports the back and it supports the belly.
Yes, it's attached around. Yep. That is one, I have not used it personally, but I've heard nothing but positive feedback from patients. Yeah. I'm not seeing or finding anything in our bodies that has me concerned. I do think that does seem to be a good option. Yep. Especially if you don't need a pillow for your arms, and then you can just use a standard pillow between your knees and ankles.
Yes. I do recommend a pillow to hug though, because that pregnancy carpal tunnel can really creep up on you. And if you're here, this can cause a lot of compression here. Yes. And then it's not that you wake up with your hands tingly, but sometimes they can wake up dead and you're like flopping around. Yeah. I can't get my arm over because it's asleep, but it's not that like tingling numbness that we typically think. Yep. And then the other half of it too is it helps protect the rib cage too. Yes. Because a lot of times if we don't have that support, just by the nature, nature of our belly, the compression, but we rotate either forward, or if we're used to sleeping on our back, you have the wedge there and now you're kind of this way. So I see a lot of rib cage stuff pop up in pregnancy because of that too. Yeah. Yeah, I do. That is why I would say my favorite is just the single long body pillow because it ticks every box along the way. Absolutely. Gives you something to hug. Yeah. So, yay pillows. I call it our pillow throne as we get throughout our pregnancy because it continues to build a little bit.
And I used
hopefully not, but sometimes it has to.
I used to say them. It's like you know, if you've got a pillow for your knees and you've got a wedge under your belly and a pillow for your hands and a pillow for your head, and then you've got one behind your back. I'm like, it's you and your 5 pillows. Like, there's no room for anybody else in the bed. Yep. Which is kind of good preparation for
love you and
postpartum, where it's like you and all the pillows and so
there's a lot there.
I think that's probably the main one. I'm trying to think of anything else that I feel like there's a lot more baby stuff, which we'll do in a different episode.
I mean, in pregnancy, we talk about this a lot. Belly bands. Are they good? Are they not? Are they supportive? Are they not? How do they help? Blah, blah,
yes
blah.
And no to all of those, right? Like some of them are supportive, but I tell people is like, a lot of people want a belly band because they want something that lifts the belly and takes the pressure off. And I'm like, there aren't any that do that exclusively or do it as much as people want it to. Yes. Right. Yep. So you can't put anything just around the belly that is going to lift the belly and take all that pressure out. We typically find more success with supporting the pelvis. Yeah. And when the pelvis and the sacrum are supported, then they can support the belly without creating so much strain. Yeah. That's not to say that some of these bands do still go over the belly. Yeah. So, you know, if we are dealing with pubic pain, SI joint pain, pelvic instability, then we love the Serola belt, which is what's called a trochanter belt. So it's not pregnancy specific, but it can be worn through pregnancy, provides stabilizing support. Yeah.
And how you wear it is really specific too. So
yes.
have someone walk you through it if you're going to buy it.
Yep.
Because if it's too high, that causes a problem. If it's too low, that causes a problem.
Yep.
It has to be right in the middle, but where is the middle? You need to
Yeah.
have someone to help you find that.
Yeah. So like we carry them in the office, we
Mhm.
fit them.
Yep.
A lot of chiropractors, PTs will
Yeah.
carry them and fit them. So correct size, correct fit, and then wearing it properly every time is
Key.
Makes the difference in whether or not it works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we'll hear that a lot too. Like, oh, well, I have a band, but I don't think it's doing anything. Like, bring it in.
Yep.
Let's see if you're wearing it correctly.
Yep.
See if it's the right size.
Mhm.
Sometimes people bring it in. I'm like, yep, just throw it away. Like,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything wrong. It's garbage.
It's just not a good one.
But more than half the time, we're able to use what they already have.
Yeah.
Just by showing them how to wear it correctly.
Absolutely.
And then I know there's another one that you really love.
Oh yeah, if moms carry really far forward, and it's more so like it's not so much we're not used to the pressure of just the growth and everything coming forward, but we actually carry really far forward. Kind of feels like your belly's hanging out a little bit.
Yeah.
The MomCozy, where it has the lift here, but then also comes around and gives you extra lift around the rib cage.
Yeah.
That has helped a lot of our moms who do carry really far forward. That's a good one. It is a little spendy, but I do think of all the belly bands I've seen out there outside of the Serola belt to help with pelvic stability, this one has been better. Yeah. And it actually fits well.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not like those other ones that are just the band across, they slide.
They
roll. They roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just, they don't do what they're intended to do.
They don't
for
do
movement.
much.
Yeah.
I think why they're so popular is they're cheap.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, part of the theme today is you get what you pay for, because I think a lot of the products where we see products and we want what they offer.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to see if we can get a cheaper version. I mean, I am always out for a deal, like for sure. Like I don't ever want to spend money I don't need to spend. Yeah. But there are times where the quality, like how long is it going to last? You know, I mean, I think that's kind of my issue sometimes with those expensive pregnancy pillows. Like if it was really high quality and the foam density was high enough and it would last you through 3 pregnancies, then maybe it's worthwhile, but that's just not what we find. Yeah. So I think when we do have people who aren't finding any level of support or they're dissatisfied with the results of some of these things, it's because they kind of have gone with a cheaper knockoff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's okay. But for a lot of these, like the quality of the fabric and the material and the elastic, because it is going to go under, you know, a good amount of stress for a fair amount of time. Yep. Because these aren't things that you use 2 or 3 times. You typically wear them every single day for long hours is how most of our patients are wearing them. Yep. So I think one thing that we do utilize and love is tape. Kinesio tape.
Love me some RockTape.
Yeah. It's just for some people, especially if they are experiencing pain when they're lying down, when they're sitting, when they're transitioning movement, you're not wearing any of these bands to bed. Mm-hmm. So if your pain is worst at night or when you're getting up out of bed to go to the bathroom, the bands aren't a great option for you. We need something. Tape is on 24 hours a day. Yeah. It's not the same level of support that you'll get from a Serola belt, for example.
But it helps a lot.
It does. It's definitely better than nothing. Mm-hmm. And it is there 24 hours a day. So we will often see that either we're reducing the irritation that's been created previously so an issue will resolve, or by providing that additional support and stability, we're not irritating or further irritating tissues that are already kind of overcompensating.
Yeah. And let's walk through really quick just so people know. There's plenty of videos on YouTube and stuff like that about RockTape, KT tape, and what it does. Let's just run through it really quick of how it creates that support versus like a belly band or something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I tell people, like tape isn't rocket science, right? Yeah. I mean, it's sold at Walgreens and you can get it online. So this isn't something where you necessarily need a professional or a provider to apply it for you. Mm-hmm. And I will often tape patients and be like, okay, you know, go home, tell your partner and find a video. YouTube is a great source. I'm like, please always be finding videos by either chiropractors or physical therapists. Yep. Those are almost 100% of us, I think, have had some sort of education on taping. Yeah. Whether it's in school or or postgraduate work. But you have to understand origin insertion point for muscles. You have to understand range of motion. So determining the type of tape, where to apply the tape is really, really important, because we can support joints, we can support ligaments, we can reduce tension on muscles and tendons. You know, where you apply the tape dictates what is the purpose of it, right? So we do a lot of belly taping. Are we trying to reduce strain on the midline tissues? Are we trying to support a healing diastasis? Are we trying to take pressure off of the round ligaments? We have people who are like, oh my gosh, every time I walk, every time I exercise, I'm getting a lot of round ligament pain. Your round ligaments are working harder to support the belly than what they're really designed for. So if we can give that additional support through tape, not joints, right? Then it takes some of that strain off of the tissues underneath. And now we can continue this exercise. We're not using other tissues to overcompensate. We're not building towards increased inflammation, irritation, or injury. So a lot of times, like I this week, I did what we call the belly sling, which is really just kind of a little bit of a lift, and then this weight distribution to try to shift into bringing that around the back. So is it dramatic? No, but you know, she gets off the table and she's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no,
and it's really subtle. Good. Yeah, it's really subtle, but it makes it.
It's 24 hours a day.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes that small change that's just enough. And that's what I think when we talk to them about tape, we do reinforce that it's a subtle change, but you will feel a lift, you will feel support, you will feel a little bit more activation too, where you didn't have it before. Like I remember you taped my calf when I tore it last summer. Yay. But it was super helpful because I didn't have as much compensation to make up for that. But it's the same thing in pregnancy and postpartum too, just to give your body the feedback that it needs to have that stimulation of, oh yeah, okay, that's what this needs to be doing.
Right. The tape on the skin, right? Your brain is constantly like, wait, what's that? What's happening here? Right. So raising awareness. I think the only issue we ever really run into with tape is sensitivity to adhesives. So I have always carried RockTape. I personally am very sensitive to adhesives, medical adhesives. And I've never had issues with RockTape. They also have a level 1 or a gentle tape that works great for pregnant skin, especially belly skin. It's always stretched. It's always more sensitive. Even that being said, sometimes, you know, we hit a point where the skin no longer tolerates the tape. So it's not an option for everybody, but for those that tolerate the adhesive, it's another great support option.
Absolutely. And not just belly too, rib cage. I've done a lot of like paraspinal taping and rib cage taping too, to kind of help with that support. So there's lots of different variations that we can do.
Use it a ton for SI joint. Right. Because the Serola belt does provide a lot of support, but when you're standing and walking isn't when you experience discomfort or need the support, then the belt's not an option. So use it a ton for low back, SI joint. Pubic joint's a little bit more challenging, but we can place the strip across the ASIS. That really helps with that. Use it postpartum for I have like a posture reminder where you start doing this and you feel the tape pull. Right? It's just like
it's so helpful.
There's
same for like the mom thumb, wrist, elbow type stuff.
I mean, I don't know that there's any joint in the body or any musculoskeletal issue that can't be supported through tape, to be honest.
Totally.
You just got to figure out the right application, the right starting point, stopping point. How much stretch to put on it. So it's like, it's not rocket science, but it's also not like you just go buy tape and slap it on and it works.
Exactly. There's lots of different, where is their tension? Where is their slack? Where is their give? That kind of stuff too. So there's a little bit of intricacies that go into it.
For sure.
But still super helpful.
I think those are most of like the support for pregnancy. I would say one of the things that I thought about when we were talking about ribcage was just everybody still wearing underwire bras in pregnancy. Please get rid of them. You have to have lower ribcage expansion. If you are still wearing the same size bra and you have underwires on, you're limiting ribcage expansion.
And also lymphatic flow.
And we think about like as the ribcage shifts, and belly is pressing, like it's just, they kind of dig more under the breast and into the rib cage.
Yeah.
I do, if you are not wearing underwire bras, then the expanders, the band expanders, which just have like the extra loops, I think the extra hook and eye, those are perfect.
Yep.
Because your bra band size will increase because your rib cage has to increase. And if you haven't increased it, have somebody do some work on your rib cage because we need for it to be able to expand.
Absolutely.
And same thing postpartum. There's a reason almost no nursing bras have underwires on them.
Yes.
So
yeah. And it's like, yes, if we're still working and we need support and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes, we want you to still have support.
I will say,
however,
a like wireless bras have come a long way since I had my kids.
Yeah, I bet.
Our option used to be like, they were called sleep bras, and they kind of looked like sports bras, but they had no support.
Yeah, kind of like a bralette,
basically.
Type thing.
Yeah, like really no support. So thankfully, there are way better supportive options in a wire-free or wireless support options. But a lot of people are like, well, I feel more supported. I feel more comfortable. Yeah. Like, at least get the expander in there.
Yep.
Also, take that bra off the second you get home.
Exactly. Just out the door. Here we go. We're good.
Yeah.
But like also too, just in general with any type of bras, right? We know that the more we wear bras, the yes, we feel supported, but the tissue is actually just kind of being held there and not being activated. So sagging later and all that kind of stuff is actually like, if you can go braless at home for as long as you can, go for it, because it's actually really great for your breast health. And then also in pregnancy and postpartum, just like sometimes you just don't want to be touched and you don't have things on you. And that's really important too, just to kind of let them do their thing.
And like you said, lymphatic drainage, the tissue is expanding. So just compression in general. I see a lot of people shifting to sports bras because they're the only bras they have that don't have underwires. So they're more comfortable. I'm like, but are they high compression? Because that is okay for exercise, but we shouldn't be in high compression bras all the time.
Exactly. Yep.
I will also see a lot of people, again, with sports bras or like racerback bras that cross over the shoulders. If you already have tension across your shoulders, your traps, your neck, that added weight really contributes to increased tension and pull there. And I've had some patients where like that was the biggest thing that made a difference. Was not wearing racerback bras anymore.
Totally. Yeah. I've talked with them too of like, hey, are you wearing this thing? And I'll ask them, can I do the pull test? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, cool. Your bra only comes to about here. It needs to be able to have stretch all the way up to your earlobes so it doesn't pull forward on you like this and then create that lingering tension that you don't know where it's coming from. I tried my posture. I've tried the exercise and blah, and nothing's helping. It's because that bra is constantly pulling you forward to create that support that feels good here, but feels terrible up here. Yeah.
And just even like, for those of you who are watching, you can see like the tension comes all the way up to the base of the skull. Like it is a big contributor to a lot of that tension.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point. I love that one.
It's
like product wise but in pregnancy, I mean, supplements, goodness. That's a big conversation. But we have a few key ones that we're like, these, if you're going to do supplements in pregnancy, these are the ones that we recommend. And here's why. But man, like the last thing you want is to take 10 pills every morning or like try to break it up throughout your day. It's not great. It's not fun. We try to like shoot for whole foods as best we can. But in pregnancy, it's a lot of strain on the body. There are a lot of things that are happening. And so you do need a little bit of extra support. So let's talk about some supplemental things.
Well, I mean, pretty much everybody's taking a prenatal, right? Or at least they've been told they should. Some people are like, I can't do it. It makes me nauseous. It makes my nausea worse. It tastes terrible and I'm burping it up all day. There are a lot of very high quality supplements out there. Controversial or no, I will tell you that these are not being found at the pharmacy. The majority of those contain a high level of synthetic vitamins, which the body doesn't tolerate well. And they're typically not as bioavailable as food-based supplements. So if you are having difficulty literally stomaching your prenatal, that would be one of the first things I would say is switch to a food-based prenatal supplement. There are some high quality ones that you can find at most natural grocery stores. All providers have access to very high quality, quality tested. You know, what they say is in them is what is in them. They're going to be a little bit pricier. I think one of the things we come across is everybody wants to buy their vitamins on Amazon because they're cheaper and they get delivered to their house. And I'm like, that's fine as long as you're buying it from the manufacturer on Amazon. Please do not buy third party vitamins and supplements.
Because a lot of them are cut.
Don't even buy third party RockTape on Amazon. Like,
I mean, we've had with the magnesium we've had in practice. We've had clients order it off of Amazon, and they were like, "Well, the pills are yellow," and I was like, "They should not be yellow.
They're like, what's the same brand?" And I'm like, "Those are counterfeit." Or the reason you're able to get them through third party is they were exposed to heat. They are expired. They there's a reason that they're cheaper. So you can, if that manufacturer sells them on Amazon, by all means, right? Then you're getting what they say you're getting. But yeah, I think food-based is always my preference because it's the most bioavailable and it's usually the most tolerated. Like people don't have as many issues with them in terms of being able to take them, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the quality, it doesn't matter the ingredients if you can't take them. There aren't any gummies that I really love. There's some out there that are better than nothing, but it's really hard to get the levels that we need. I think that's another thing is, you know, people like, oh, look, it's got 100% of my RDA. I'm like, awesome, you're not going to die. Right? Like that's what the recommended daily allowance is, the absolute minimum that we know our cells need for survival. We got to do more. Most of us probably are experiencing some deficiencies of some of these vitamins and supplements at some period.
Well, and it's also the quality of our food has gone down too. So there's another half of like why you need so many these days.
And a ton of us have gut imbalances. So
I love bread. I love milk. It's not great for my gut, but I can't give it up.
So like
I do as best I can, but like there are things that happen. It's not gonna hurt you, but at the same time, it's asking your body to do more, and so we need to support it.
And so we may not be, you know, there might be 100% in there, but you may not be absorbing 100% of it. So, you know, there are a whole lot of factors that go into, you know, what's the perfect vitamin for you and what exact levels do you need and how much are you absorbing and how much are you utilizing? That's well beyond, I mean, we don't even fully do that in our own practice.
We have a good understanding of it, but it's not something that we do a lot.
No, we don't. And so I think, you know, it's like if we can start with high quality products, then we've got the best chance that you're getting what you need, you're stomaching it easily, you're absorbing it readily, and we're hoping that you're getting the most out of it. So food-based prenatals.
And I'd say for the prenatals too, prenatals without iron in them, because if you have iron in your prenatal, it does impact absorption. For the prenatal supplement of all the things that you need there and of the iron too. So take the iron separately if you can. And
when you know you need iron.
Exactly. Not everybody
iron,
needs it.
Iron isn't necessarily something we just want to automatically supplement with unless we know that iron levels are low or we have a history of anemia or something like that. I think the other big thing, this has come up for both of us recently, is folic acid. It's not 1980.
I know.
There is absolutely no reason any pregnant woman should be taking folic acid.
And there's research to support this.
There's a lot of research to support this. Yes, this is widely known. I think anybody who's still recommending it just isn't quite up to date on the latest research and the latest recommendations. But please be taking folate, specifically methylfolate, if you do not know your MTHFR status. So MTHFR status dictates whether or not your body is able to methylate B vitamins. There are different types, there are different severities. they're of the worst type. I have both of them. So
I don't actually know mine.
I mean, I always assumed that I had at least one, but dealing with some interesting things on my blood work over the years, we finally were like, let's just confirm. And sure enough. So, I've seen estimates anywhere between 50 and 85% of Americans carry at least one MTHFR gene.
Okay.
That's a huge variety. But even on the low end, if it's half of us carry one gene, then your ability to methylate is impacted.
Yeah.
So I've had people say, well, what if I don't need it methylated? Well, then your body doesn't need to do the work, right? Exactly. It's immediately absorbable for you because it's already methylated. So if you can methylate, great.
Yeah.
This type of B vitamin isn't worse for you. It's not going to cause you harm.
Yeah.
So kind of when in doubt, like, let's go with the methylated Bs.
Yeah.
Because then there's no harm.
Yeah. And you just got a really great one in the office. I've been using it and I've noticed a really big difference, but it's a liquid base instead of a capsule.
Bees.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
it's so powerful.
That's a whole other conversation, but let me tell you, liposomal is game changer.
Yeah.
I've been taking methylated Bs for over 20 years, probably 25 years. In chiropractic school, I first learned about it and learned about methylation and heard about MTHFR, and I was like, that sounds like I might have that. So I've been taking methylated only Bs for 25 years. The challenge is that the majority of B vitamins in our enriched foods, one place I found I was getting it was some like bottled electrolyte drinks. So
really anything processed, you need to look and see if it says enriched on it. If it says enriched, they don't have to do anything other than that, really. Like, they'll tell you what's in it and stuff like that. But if it's enriched, there are synthetic vitamins in there.
That's where it's so sneaky, because I haven't on purpose taken a non-methylated B vitamin in 25 years, but it was still coming in other places. After getting COVID in 2021, I was still just, needing some extras. So I went to one of the IV places to get an IV and specifically asked to see their package for their bees, because there's all these different things. I was going to do my Irish cocktail and want to do bees separately, and the bees were unmethylated. I was like, I can't
do it.
Yeah. So I had to seek out a different place to do that. With somebody that I knew that the bees were methylated, because it's not standard. So at least not now in this country. So that is worth reading a label, just to see. And when, like I said, when in doubt, just go with the methylated, and then you've got nothing to worry about.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
But other things we want to make sure we have good levels. Most of the prenatals are going to have what's needed and what's recommended. I honestly don't understand why they're still being made with folic acid in this day and age, but they are. But we see higher levels of like our fish oils and our omegas and our DHEA. We see choline. We're seeing most of these in there. So if you do nothing else, at least do high quality food-based prenatal with methylated Bs.
And I do want to note too, right? Like, so here's just some backstory when it comes to synthetic versus whole food based. Legally, companies cannot patent nature. So in order to make money from all these really great things that nature provides, they have to make a synthetic version of it so they can create a patent on it. That I just want people to understand, because that, when I learned that, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Like, it's a business thing for them. Of course it is. And so, yes, they want to have these things readily available, because when it comes to natural resources and all that kind of stuff, I get it. At the same time, what's better for our bodies and what's better absorbed in our bodies is a whole food-based product versus something that was made in a lab. Just across the board.
Yeah, because they're similar, but they're not the same, right? And so I do think there is a lot of misunderstanding in the general population on that. I also think there's a sense of like, oh, well, if it's from the pharmacy or it's a prescription, it's a higher quality. That's not necessarily true. And I think when we look at, some of the vitamins and supplements that we recommend, like, they're not cheap, but it's because they're higher quality ingredients. They are lab tested for safety, for potency, all of that. And so that's where the cost comes in. And just like there's cost with developing a prescription product, there is even cost in extracting, distilling, encapsulating, and ensuring safety for these natural food derived products as well.
Absolutely.
But again, the theme of the day, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've seen this time and time again in chiropractic school. We aren't doing x-rays in practice, but I've seen full pills in the digestive tract on x-rays.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so I think that's hard for people to grasp too. I'm like, some of these brands, I'm like, just throw it in the toilet. Just save yourself the trouble of the travel, because you're not getting anything out of it.
I always ask them, like, are you almost done with it? And I'm like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, just throw it away. Yay.
Yeah. A lot of times it's like, all right, use the rest of what you have, and then when you're ready to buy more, let's replace it with
that's usually what
product.
I go for, unless it's really
every
bad.
once in a while it's like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to toss that. And
I say this out of love and care for you.
Yeah. Because I mean, especially for people who've already spent the money and are taking the time to take pills, right? I mean, everybody's a little bit different. We've alluded to this in previous episodes. We both have tongue ties. Swallowing pills is never been easy for me.
I hate it.
And it is what I have also discovered is that the more pills I swallow, the more it triggers my gag reflex.
Yeah, same.
And so for a long time, I thought that it was the pills that were creating the nausea. And then I really started playing with different pills different times a day. I'm like, no, it's the fourth pill. 1, 2, 3 are fine. 4 and beyond, I start getting nauseous, and it has nothing to do with the pills. Yeah. So when you have somebody who's already taking pills, if it's not, if you're not
worth
getting
it for
the
them.
results, like, why are you taking the pill?
Exactly.
Is it helping with that? No.
Yeah.
Let's try something different.
Exactly.
So I would say there are a couple of things that are worthwhile to get in addition to your prenatal or separately from the prenatal. Yeah. Magnesium is a big one.
Love
for
magnesium.
Us.
Love magnesium in pregnancy. In general,
but I mean, there are studies that show that the majority of women in the U.S. are magnesium deficient, maybe just a little bit, but this just comes down to food sources. It comes down to how our bodies utilize magnesium. Some of these things, our need for them goes up because of stress. Our need for them goes up because of exercise. So the RDA is taking nothing else into account.
And RDA stands for?
Oh my gosh. Recommended daily allowance. I was like, what?
I like you just said it earlier, but just
it's one of those things where you're thinking about it, and then somebody asks you, and you're like, wait, what does that mean? What is that?
What that means, because sometimes we forget what that means.
So recommended. And it is kind of like, the minimum that you should be getting, and taking a daily multivitamin should help to kind of fill the gaps in your diet, because even if you have a really healthy diet, again, the potency and the levels of vitamins in our food, unfortunately, isn't what it used to be. And so the source makes a difference. Like, how much iron is in your protein sources is dependent on, well, what was the food source for your food? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that. So again, without going down to microscopic levels, like a daily multivitamin or prenatal is just a supplement and fill the gaps in your diet. Yep. The needs in pregnancy change, the needs for baby's neurological development. That is why there are certain things in there. Yep. But then now we got to talk about, like, but what does your body need in addition to that to support this ongoing change? And I think for magnesium, your baseline magnesium levels, your magnesium deficiencies are going to impact all of your muscles in your body. Smooth muscles of digestion, absolutely. Dealing with some of, like, our fast twitch muscles with calf cramps and things like that.
Restless legs.
Restless leg. Yep. It impacts sleep, right? And I love magnesium for sleep because it's not a sedative. Yep. Right? It doesn't matter what time of day you take it. People are like, oh, I thought I had to take it at night. I'm like, I mean, some people take it at night and they do feel like it, as soon as they take it, they start to feel, I'm like, whether it's a placebo effect or whether it is that quickly helping to calm or relax your body, either way, I'm like, but if you are currently taking it in the morning and you're not feeling sleepy through the day, I'm like, you can take it at any point in the day. We prefer it at night, so it's available to your muscles to help you sleep more deeply. But
the one that we have does make me a little sleepy.
Yeah.
Because it's so potent and I love it. And but I have a more sensitive system for sure. I know that when I just take anything. Yep. anything that happens to my body, I'm more sensitive. And so our magnesium, I love it so much,
Yeah.
but I have to make sure that I'm getting like minimum of
Yeah.
8 hours of sleep, because otherwise I do wake up. It's hard for me to wake up.
Yeah.
But I feel so great. And I only take one. The
yeah.
recommended dose on ours is 2, and I only take 1 capsule to go
I
to
take
bed.
1 in the morning, usually. And then I do powder at night because I'm trying to minimize pills where I can.
Yeah. You can always just break it.
Yeah. I don't feel like taking it in the morning makes me sleepier.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's a little bit of you just got to kind of figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But magnesium is one that it is one of the very few supplements we carry in the office because we so regularly see the benefits, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no downside to it other than you take too much, you get loose stool, which isn't lovely.
But that's how we know what our threshold is.
Yes. And the majority of patients in pregnancy are on the slower end of things. So they're like, well, that wouldn't be the worst. And I'm like, I mean, nobody wants to sign up for loose stool, but I agree. Things are slow. This can help with that. It also is where we figure out proper dosage for you. And so we start low and we can slowly increase that dosage until we have found the results that we're looking for. Your calf cramps are gone. Your restless leg is gone. Great. This is your dosage.
Yeah. You're not getting insomnia at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yep. We maintain this dosage until baby gets here or it stops working. And I also tell patients too, we got to think about your babies are building an entire skeletal system. So yes, there's magnesium and calcium in your prenatal vitamin, but it's likely not enough for baby to get the minerals that they need. Now, this doesn't mean your baby is born with brittle bones. It means they're going to borrow these nutrients from your body.
Exactly.
So we want to ensure that you are supplementing and replacing those minerals at a high enough level so that you don't become deficient, because your body is going to give your minerals to your baby's bone development. So we want to do better than the minimum because some of the things that we see and the complaints that we hear and the really common irritating issues of pregnancy, like poor sleep, like calf cramps, like constipation, can often be improved, if not solved, by a simple, safe supplement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, safe supplement. Like, again, just to reiterate, the worst thing that will happen if you take too much magnesium is you'll have diarrhea. Yeah. Great. It's not enjoyable, but that's the worst thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't interfere or interact with other medications. You're not going to get too much of it. I mean, outside of pregnancy, a laxative dosage is 3,000 milligrams. Yeah. So which is a lot, right? So we're typically starting at dosages of 300 to 400. We're at 10%. Yep. Right. We start low and go from there. And I think with our capsules, I think a single pill is maybe 200. So we're really starting pretty low, and then just increasing if needed, as needed. Some people are more sensitive. Some people will begin to have kind of a laxative effect by maybe 800 to 1,000, and we're like, then we back it off.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. The other one too, just when we talk about minerals too, is potassium and sodium. Yep.
Yeah. So sodium is, I mean, I do feel like it's getting a lot of attention because all of the like heavy salt electrolyte powders are really popular right now. And we carry some of them in our office. Yeah. So, part of this comes down to diet. If you have a diet of heavily processed foods, then you are probably getting ample sodium in your diet, if maybe not more than necessary. But we do have a lot of patients in our office who eat a pretty clean diet, a whole food diet. They are doing a lot of cooking at home. And so the amount of salt or sodium that they're actually getting in their diet is lower than probably what is ideal. Yeah. And so, we have people who are like, oh, well, I'm swelling. I was told to just drink water, not salt. I'm like, okay, but in terms of like electrolyte balance and what your body needs to maintain a charge across your cell membrane and your interstitial tissue to move water in and out, you have to have sodium. Yep. So we often find that for people who are retaining water, who are experiencing swelling, that sometimes they actually need a little bit more salt. There is a portion of the population that needs to be on a low sodium diet all the time. We're not talking about them. Yep. That is a small portion of the population. And so, sometimes I'll ask people like, okay, well, pre-pregnancy, if you did eat, sodium heavy food, what was your experience? And like, oh, I always got really swollen. Okay, then we are not recommending these electrolytes for you.
Well, it's also the quality too, right? Like
yes.
those processed foods usually is something like a table salt versus a high quality mineral salt. So that's a little bit different too.
Yes. Yep.
And just, again, we talk about the quality of things. You get what you paid for. But we're not talking about highly processed table salt.
Yeah.
We are talking about things that are like Jacobsen sea salt, for example, is a great brand that I love. Heavy metal tested, all that kind of stuff. Great. But
and it has other minerals also.
With it. Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. So it's not just that single table salt sodium. It's the other stuff that goes with a high mineral salt that we're looking for. And
when we look at something like sea salt, which is a food, you know, part of why food-based is so important is that often the ratios of the different vitamins or minerals present are at or very near the ideal ratios for absorption.
Yep.
So there are certain, your body doesn't absorb calcium well without the presence of magnesium, right? There's a reason that all of the D vitamins now have K in them, right? Like, so these help to improve or facilitate our absorption and utilization of these. So sea salt is going to have a great natural ratio between the highest will be the chloride or the salt, but it also has magnesium. It also has potassium. And often in a ratio that is kind of ideal for bioavailability in the first place.
Totally.
I personally feel like outside of pregnancy, everybody talks about potassium for calf cramps. And I think with athletes in particular, that's true. I have typically seen magnesium move the needle for muscle cramps a little bit more so than potassium, but we've definitely had individual patients where potassium was still what they needed more so.
Yes, banana a day. She's one of our clients. She's like, all I have to do is eat a banana. She's like, I'm good on my salt and my magnesium. I feel good about this. It helped a little bit. She goes, and then I added a little bit of extra potassium. So much better. I don't get any more leg cramps and that kind of stuff. Another really great hack is actually cream of tartar. It has more potassium in it. A teaspoon of it has more potassium in it than a banana does. So if you're like, I can't eat a banana every day, totally fair. There are other things that you can do, little hacks where you don't have to like get very spendy with it, but still have some good quality stuff. Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Is that it for vitamins and supplements?
Yeah, I think those are the big ones that we recommend a lot of for pregnancy and like continuing in postpartum too, because you still need to replenish in postpartum.
One more thing that just came to mind kind of on the topic of absorption is we do get a lot of patients that are experiencing heartburn. And so they're taking a lot of antacids. Stomach acid is your friend. It's necessary. There are a number of reasons that we can be experiencing heartburn in third trimester. Often it is related to rib cage expansion, diaphragm tension. You know, do we have enough space in the abdominal cavity, and are we managing that pressure so as not to create that sort of reflux, really? But also, you know, looking at the longer term implications of being on an antacid for a really long period of time. And if we don't have enough acid, we're not properly breaking down the food. So we're minimizing absorption. So it's like, you know, we're trying to solve one problem, but we're
creating a different,
not
problem, but just a different type of like compensation.
You're you know, we're taking from one thing or place to try to satisfy something over here. So we do also carry digestive enzymes in the office. We tend to find that those are going to help aid the digestion process without the increase of acid, so that it often does help reduce the heartburn symptoms, but we're still getting the food broken down as needed to ensure hopefully maximum absorption.
Totally.
So I would say that's another one.
Also, too,
digestive enzymes are cheap. No side effects. They're really easy.
Come and get adjusted too, because we've had a lot of clients who they forgot to mention that they had heartburn and they came in for something else, and then we adjust them and they're like, oh, by the way, after my second visit, my heartburn went away. Cool. I'm like, yay.
It's like, yes, that vertebrae that supplies the nerve route to your digestive
and taking all
system.
that pressure off of your valves that are
so there's
causing
multiple,
all of that tension.
multiple ways that helps.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Yeah. I think for like, if we're talking about supplements, those are the main ones for us that we see are actually very supportive outside of everything else that we see for what our clients are being recommended and thrown at.
Yeah. And there are, I think there's so many options out there. I think we're seeing a lot more ads for supplements.
Yep.
So, you know, the stuff in TikTok shops and stuff like that. And I'll get text messages from people in my life. Are you familiar with the supplement? Have you seen it? And most of the time it's come to their attention through an ad. And I'll go in and I'll do the research and I'm like, so this isn't great. You know, it's often not independently tested, or the third party testing is kind of widely known to be a pay to play. Like they'll put their seal of approval on anything for the right amount of money. Like that's not a lot of credibility for me. So I think like we have trusted brands that have been around for a long time that are widely utilized by healthcare providers, have consistently been subjected to third-party testing to prove safety and efficacy. They don't have, you know, they don't have lead, they don't have high, you know, other heavy metals. Like there's a lot of stuff, you know, unfortunately there is little to no regulation on what is sold in the United States. So, you know, it's why you don't see things like FDA approved on vitamins and supplements. In fact, you see something that says this has not been tested or
approved.
Or, you know, its use hasn't been, you know, checked by the FDA. I can't remember the exact language that's on all of them right now. And that's because that's just not part of what the FDA does, right? Like that's not part of what they were set up to do. And so it doesn't mean that it's all garbage, but it also doesn't mean that it's all safe and it's all effective.
Totally.
So I think there are a lot of targeted ads around pregnancy supplements and prenatal vitamins they're not all great. So,
and the only reason why we carry them in the office is because we know what's out there and we would rather have you have a high quality, we vetted it for you kind of stuff where we know you're going to get the most bang for your buck.
Because I mean, best cases, it's not doing any harm. I think, you know, that's always the most important thing. But again, you're spending money and you know that this is necessary. There's a reason everyone is told to take prenatal vitamins. So they're not all created equal. You don't have to take the ones we recommend, but also the ones from the TikTok shop might not be your best option.
Not
either.
all of them. I found some pretty cool things on there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some cool stuff in there. And that's what's so hard is like, now,
I know. How do you decide?
There's so much stuff out there now. And it's so much easier for people to get this stuff shipped directly and get access. It's hard. It's really, really hard. So that's why it's like, look, we're not going to tell you a specific brand, but food-based, methylated beet, like here are the guidelines. And if it meets all those guidelines, then it's probably going to be pretty good.
Cool. Yeah. I think that's it for pregnancy. Postpartum, newborn care and stuff, that's different. Like postpartum.
I mean, we could, like the infant stuff is definitely a totally separate episode. But I do think for postpartum, I like.
What are those shorts that you really
simple.
like?
Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be fancy.
You don't feel glamorous in postpartum and it's okay. I'm just gonna put that out there.
So I mean, aside from the basics, which, you know, you're kind of told, like, get some Chucks pads or get some Depends, or, you know, there's kind of all that stuff. But when we get past like the initial healing and we look at more of like, you know, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, up to 12 weeks, where we're looking at how do we support the body for healing, or what are we often finding and what are patients reporting that we're suggesting some of these support options. So one is the SRC shorts. So these are literally shorts. They can be short shorts or bike shorts. They also have some that are more of like a brief. But what they are is they're global, right? Belly, low back. They're always at least an underwear brief. So we're getting pelvic floor support, but it is a global light compression. Versus a focused tight compression like we see with belly binders or belly bands. And like most of the things that only go over your belly postpartum, especially some of the cheaper options, have a tendency to slip and roll. And then they just end up between your hips and your rib cage.
Yeah.
And now we're creating this compression that is potentially limiting rib cage expansion and diaphragm mobility. It's definitely increasing intra-abdominal pressure downward towards the pelvic floor,
which is not what we want.
That's the opposite of what we want.
Exactly.
So SRC shorts aren't the only thing, but I will say they are the easiest thing because you just put them on and you wear them all day.
Yep.
And you got to pull them down to go to the bathroom. But there are some other belly wraps and things that are based more on kind of like some cultural practices. Some people will use a rebozo postpartum.
Yep.
We talked about what's called the Baekhyun belly wrap, which is a long piece of linen. Those are
is it linen
a
or
little
is it
muslin.
Muslin. Yeah.
They're a little bit more complicated. There is technique involved to ensure that you're doing it correctly instead of creating that midline heavy compression. But if you have access to those, or you know someone that can teach you how to apply those yourself, those are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think
why there? Go ahead. Sorry.
Now I say for ease of use, we like the shorts because they're a quick on and off.
Yeah, and I would say let's talk about why it's important to do something like that that's more specific in terms of how it's supporting your body versus like those wraps that do put that intra-abdominal pressure, because you can get the support and stuff like that too through movement and breath work and things like that, which we do also recommend.
Yes.
But we also don't want to create more problems down the road. So we want to have a supportive brace that is actually not creating a crutch for your body, but is actually retraining your muscles how to hold that support, because for 9+ months we had to accommodate and stretch and move and everything like that. So as our organs are coming back to place, as our rib cage is starting to figure out its new motion, and then also our abdomen, our obliques, everything like that is starting to kind of come back, these supportive wraps are really helpful in that way, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Because that's the thing, right? And for anybody who's had a baby, like baby comes out and the next day you're like, wait, why do I look pregnant again? And so, these things do not snap back. And we've got relaxin in the system for 10 to 12 weeks. So it is, it's gradual, but also 12 weeks is a very short amount of time for how much change these tissues experience. Organs are going back into place. Uterus is shrinking. We've got more breast enlargement if you are lactating. So the shifts are continuing. And as these tissues are trying to shrink back down, they're not strong and they're not stable. And so, for some people, they're going to, you get past about 2 weeks and you're starting to feel a little bit more normal. Excuse me. And even just, hopefully you're not out running at 2 weeks, but if you've gone from like just kind of sitting on the couch or laying in the bed and now you're up and around and maybe you're doing a little bit of laundry or you decide to take a walk around the block or you're standing and cooking, like that's load on your body. And these tissues are not really ready to support that load without compromise. So if we can give a little bit of external support to these tissues, it's kind of like the tape, on the other side, and we can also use tape postpartum, but you're giving that little bit of additional support to the tissues without limiting range of motion, this isn't a high level of support, so it's not doing it for the muscles or the tissues, but we're reducing the likelihood that we're going to compensate elsewhere. We're going to put load on tissues that is more likely to result in injury or is going to delay the healing process. If we just think of it as a little bit more of like a hug, right? Like it's gentle overall compression where you're like,
that feels
like it
nice.
Feels like just a little bit of relief. You can tell that your body isn't working as hard. It should not be uncomfortable. It should not be limiting rib cage expansion. You shouldn't feel like you can't bend and move with these on, right? There should not be limitations. If you're experiencing those things, this is heavy compression. This is probably not productive. And it might actually be creating more problems with some tissues than it's alleviating.
Absolutely.
But and there are people like, oh, I didn't do anything. They might be fine.
Totally.
Right. So it's not to say that you have to do this.
If you want it.
And I think we find the majority of people feel better when they have something like this because most of us are going to get up and we are going to move and
especially
we are
with toddlers and stuff too.
We are going to get back into some of these day-to-day activities. So this isn't even about return to exercise or anything more intense. This is just your day-to-day activities. the likelihood that you have to use your body in a way that it's maybe not quite ready for is pretty high.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it helps to promote more complete healing, but it also potentially is reducing the likelihood of even minor injury or delay of that healing process.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. I think that's such a big topic too. It's just, bands, belly bands in general.
I mean, I feel like at least I'm seeing less ads for things that are called waist trainers.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple of years there where everybody was talking about waist trainers. And I was like, oh my gosh.
You mean a corset?
Basically. And it's like, great, things, you push this in the middle, which means we took everything and we pushed it up and or down.
Mm-hmm.
And so a visual that I want everyone to have, so you think twice about these products. I was taking a pelvic floor course. I was pregnant with my second, so 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about compressive products, but also talking about like why you shouldn't jump back into like ab specific exercises or crunches right afterwards without having your pelvic floor evaluated. She's like, okay. She's like, so, you're laying there and you think about pregnancy and birth, you basically, she's like, you think of the abdominal cavity as like a tube of toothpaste or a tube of lotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically birth is like, you just unscrew the cap and you set it over there. And so it's just kind of like, everything's in there as long as you don't mess with stuff too much.
Yeah.
But as soon as you compress the middle or you lift the top half, the paste and the lotion just squirt out the bottom. And I'm like, no, nobody wants that to happen. Nobody wants anything coming out of there.
Yeah.
And so she's like, your core work is just screwing the cap back on, making sure everything stays where it is. And I was like,
it's a great analogy.
Kind of it's effective. But like when you think about the waist trainers or the things that compress here, like, especially a couple days postpartum, like your organs are trying to figure out where to go.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I get the theory behind it. If the WASP waist is the absolute goal at the expense of everything else, they're effective at that.
Yeah.
But that's also not a normal shape for a human.
Yep.
And it doesn't come without compromise elsewhere.
Totally.
So when we're looking at comprehensive postpartum healing, we don't recommend those.
Yeah, we don't recommend them at all. Yeah. I'd say like in terms of detail, like those are the big ones. And then let's just like rapid fire a few extra like things that we recommend or that we like a high quality pump.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
Have your lactation consultant fit you for a flange appropriately, because that
quality of pump is irrelevant if you don't have the right flange.
Exactly.
Size.
Yep.
And I think also thinking about how you're going to use it, right? So if you are planning to return to work in a manner that has you pumping frequently enough and high enough volume to avoid supplementation, you need a hospital grade pump.
Yep.
If you are on the other end and you're like, I just want to have a little bit in the freezer in case, then some of the ones that just capture the passive capture in the bra might be okay. But your needs are going to dictate, but investing in a quality product that meets your needs and then having a flange fitting is a very worthy investment.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And can avoid a lot of frustration and a lot of heartache if you do that early on.
A lot of pain. Yep.
I think, getting yourself set up in a good feeding posture, like whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding.
Yep.
This is a habit that you are going to be doing for hours a day.
Yep.
For weeks on end, if not months on end. So early, getting yourself set up in a supportive chair, like the bed is not the place to do this. I'm sorry. Like, I understand it happens sometimes, but there is no way to create ideal posture for you and your baby in a bed. Unless you're doing side lying, which is a different story. Yeah, but most people are not. They're trying to like do pillows and, ending up in a situation that creates a lot of pain in their bodies. So, low back support, having pillows under the baby, right? So baby's at the level of the breast without having to hunch over.
Yep. Those boppy pillows.
Yeah, boppies. There's my breast friend. There's, some people prefer one over the other. Get a high quality feeding pillow. Don't feed in 12 different locations. Pick one spot where you feed. Have all your gear right there. Yep. Every time. So I think for postpartum healing, there is no reason not to buy yourself a little $10 inflatable hemorrhoid donut.
Yeah. So worth it.
So worth it.
Yep.
You can sit on your breastfeeding pillow.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit on one of the travel pillow. Like there's lots of ways. But we see so many people slouching because they don't want to sit upright on their pelvis because those tissues are swollen. Those tissues are tender. Fair. I get it. But after a couple of weeks of sitting like that, your neck and your shoulders are going to be killing you.
So is your tailbone.
Yep. So super inexpensive investment. Sit on that all the time.
Yep.
And then you can be in a better posture without compromising more pain and more pressure into those tissues.
Totally. Traveling neck pillow for just your neck, especially for those twilight feeds, where you're up super early and you're like, I'm kind of sleepy, but I can't fall asleep. And then you fall asleep and then you're like, oh, I fell asleep. Hey, instead of falling asleep like this, you have this. Oh, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, postpartum's not glamorous, and that's okay. Like we're getting through it. But the better you're gonna feel in your body is how you support your body.
Yes.
And those small things have it right next to you on your nightstand.
Yes. Well, or you've got
or
your
bed,
boppy,
wherever. Yeah.
Right. And then you've got your little travel neck pillow right on top of it.
Exactly.
Like when we talk about feeding in one place or having all your tools, those are both right there every time, right?
Yep.
Boppy, baby, neck pillow, go.
Yeah, exactly. Get latched, and then you can sit back and say, yeah, they got it. I'll look down a little bit and then come back. This is great. Yeah. This open posture is going to be so helpful because the way I describe postpartum is it's more of a slow burn of things that are just compounding on top of each other. For the first 2 weeks, you're like, I got this. And then by 8 weeks, when you're doing the same thing over and over again, you come back and you're like, oh no, my neck and my upper back and my rib cage and just all of it hurts. And it's a slow burn. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's so much of what we hear in the postpartum visits, right? Like, I had one yesterday and she was like, yeah, no, my wrist stuff was gone like immediately.
Yeah.
But then it started coming back. I was like, so the pregnancy issue resolved. And then look, now you developed a new issue in postpartum because postures have changed and things have changed.
Totally.
So, we go over, okay, so here's proper bottle holding posture, right? And here's how we want to relax the hand and the wrist when breastfeeding if we can.
Yeah.
So that we're not putting that tension in every single day and then building up into the place of pain.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. I'd say another thing that I love too is Epsom salts. Man, they don't have to be scented. If you want them scented, fine. But unscented Epsom salt is a game changer in pregnancy
and postpartum.
Exactly. Pregnancy and postpartum. Take a bath. I know, like we had one client last year. She was more of like a germaphobe. So she hated baths because she thought they were dirty. Yeah. And I was like, cool, husband, I want you to deep clean this bathtub this weekend so she can get in there and actually feel comfortable in it. Yeah. She took an Epsom salt bath. She came back the next week and she was like, wow. Okay, I'm taking a bath every night now. And I'm like, it's so great just because what it does again is it helps relax those tissues, helps a little bit with inflammation and things like that. And so I think it's a really great.
And Epsom salts are magnesium.
Exactly.
So it's getting absorbed directly into the tissues. Like we've had some people where that was a more effective way to prevent their muscle cramps than even the oral magnesium sometimes. Exactly. So I mean, you have people who are bath people and you have people who aren't bath people.
I get it.
I will never own a home without a bathtub.
Same.
Like
I love
I wouldn't even go look at a house that didn't have a bathtub in the master bathroom. And then you have people who they build these massive showers because neither of them would ever take a bath. So fair enough. I have some people who are like, we don't have a bathtub, or I'm not really a bath person.
Totally.
So there are magnesium lotions and magnesium sprays. Yeah. They've never worked as well for me, but some people swear by them.
Yeah. At the bottom of the feet. Yeah.
Epsom salts in the bath, some essential oils. Yeah. Some music, some candles. Yeah. You
deserve it.
Yeah. Like a whole
1000% deserve it.
You will hear us talk about nervous system regulation in so many other episodes. Like this can be a good time to listen to, in pregnancy, to listen to birth affirmations, or things like, or birth podcasts. Yep. And
in postpartum too.
Listen to our podcast in the bathtub.
Exactly. Hey.
And then same thing postpartum. This can be it can be 20 minutes. This doesn't have to be hours long.
Exactly.
It can be 20 minutes. a little bit of you time and some relaxation and not being touched by anybody. Sometimes that's a period of renewal that can be really, really valuable.
Yeah,
postpartum.
absolutely. Yeah. We get a little bit overstimulated when we're constantly touched.
Yeah.
So, and that's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad parent. It doesn't
Nope.
make you a bad mother. It's just your nervous system is still trying to regulate itself as well.
Yep.
And so sometimes you just need a break, and that's okay.
That's okay. Everybody's got their threshold, right? Some people, even before having kids, are like, I'm not a hugger. I don't really like to be touched. You know, my partner and I don't snuggle at night. You know, everybody's a little bit different. And so, you know, if that's already you, there's a good chance you're going to hit your threshold a little bit earlier with your baby. It does not make you a bad mom. Doesn't mean you don't love your baby. Doesn't mean you're not still going to do skin to skin and stuff. But you know, you may not be skin to skin 24 hours a day with your baby. That's okay too. Yeah.
I'm going to say shout out to my mom who hid in the bathroom for like 10 minutes when we were younger. I totally get it now. Like, just mom everywhere. Sometimes you just need a break.
You just do. Or you just need a moment with your own thoughts. You need a moment without the chatter. Right? Like there was a patient in the other day and her daughter's like 2.5 and just literally talk the entire time. Like in the waiting room, they're talking, come in, they chat the entire time. And mom is just like, I was like, I know. Like I've been there. I'm like, you can totally tune them out. I'm like, I'm listening. I think it's adorable again because I'm far enough removed from it. You know, but you're sometimes like, I love you and I love what you're saying, but also I just want 5 minutes of silence. It's okay because your brain is constantly listening. Your brain is constantly processing. That I think is one of the challenges of parenthood, one of the bigger shifts, which will be in a different episode, of just your brain changes dramatically. And part of it is that your brain will forever be trying to figure out where that kid is. Is that kid safe? Do they need something from me? So while you're not actively listening to what the toddler is saying for the 732nd time today, some part of your brain is listening for their tone of voice. Is this urgent? Do they need something from me? Are they 5 feet from me or are they 20 feet from me? And I don't know if they're safe. Like that's your nervous system is doing all of that in the background all the time. So yeah, it can get exhausting and we can get overstimulated. And sometimes you just need a few minutes to breathe and decompress and know that the tiny human is being kept alive by someone other than you.
Absolutely. So true. What else? I mean, ice packs are always great. Like bendy, squishy ones are good. Like the microwaveable heat packs can be really beneficial.
Ice and heat, right? I mean, when in doubt, especially for musculoskeletal pain, like, you know, ice is not recommended as much as it used to be.
And that's like in a positive way.
For
like
sure.
we've learned from there. So like and like we can utilize it in some ways, and then what it was touted for a lot has shifted, right?
And you know, most of what we're dealing with are not acute injuries with our patients. I still see that for joint related pain, or pain where the joint is kind of the primary inflammatory issue, ice offers more relief, even if it's short term. But we also, if we want to reduce inflammation, we have to complete that inflammatory cycle. And then heat is often necessary as part of that cycle. So I don't always love ice alone. I don't always love heat alone. But it also is helpful to know which tissues we're dealing with. We tend to see more pain relief with ice in the short term and more pain relief for joints, and then more relief from muscle pain with heat. So I'm like, when in doubt, alternate. But these are really cheap, easy things to have around to just try to keep yourself more comfortable.
Heat goes a long way too.
It goes a long way.
And especially when we're just sore.
Just
put some heat on it.
And that's why I love the bath, the Epsom salt bath. Right?
Like just normal ranges of motion for your neck, because movement, right, is so important to help those tissues learn that they can, I can relax. I don't have to fight for my life and hang on. Like we're going to bring heat. We're going to bring that oxygen and nutrients up to those tissues so they can heal a little bit faster.
Fluid movement.
Exactly.
I mean, anytime you hold a position for a really long period of time, or you spend a lot of time in bed because you're not feeling well, like everybody feels stiff. I'm like, there's just a stagnancy in the body. We got to get things flowing again. We got to get things open again. We got to get things moving again.
Yeah. Another thing I love for pregnancy and postpartum for both you and baby is a birth ball.
Yeah.
Yoga balls are great.
Yep.
So great. So supportive in pregnancy, so supportive in postpartum. Really great for infant movement and development too. I love them for babies. So that's a really easy, what are they, like $20?
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
I mean, pregnancy, they're a great seating option. They're a dynamic seating option. It's good for pelvic movements, pelvic mobility. It's good for leaning over it. Doing cat-cow, getting off your wrist if you're having wrist pain. So many things you can do with it in birth. And then, postpartum, like you said, good getting baby on there, infant mobility. But we have a lot of babies who really want movement. So instead of standing and swaying and doing that for hours on end, you sit on the birth ball with just a little bit of subtle, like, that's going to be easier on your body. And it's keeping baby happy at the same time.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that might be the best $20 you spend.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely. It has to be the right size and all that kind of stuff. But, and we have a video on it on our Instagram if you want to check it out. But it's definitely a very great.
And I would say that's one where you can go with a cheaper option. You don't need the $80 ball.
No.
Some things, it makes a difference. No, this one go with the cheapest option.
Absolutely. And I'd say like the last thing that people don't realize that they need in pregnancy and in postpartum are supportive shoes. So like it's in your kitchen, especially, or you can get the fatigue mats in your kitchen. But you have 26 bones in each foot, and relaxin is impacting every single one of those joint spaces. That's why some women say, oh, my shoe size got bigger in pregnancy is because my foot kind of flattened out a little bit.
It does, because all those, the majority of the integrity of the foot is ligaments and tendons. They're stretching like all the rest of the ones in the body. So, I mean, we see not a lot of foot complaints, but I would say it's not uncommon. It's not rare.
We see it a good amount.
We see a fair amount. And oftentimes it does come after, I spent all weekend cooking and making freezer meals. I'm a big advocate for barefoot, barefoot shoes that have a lot of flexibility and mobility in them. Absolutely. But patients see me in the office. You'll never see me in anything other than 0 drop wide toe box. But barefoot and barefoot and pregnant is a good recipe for foot pain. So if you're outside and you're in your yard and you're in the grass,
different,
fine. But if you're standing on concrete, if you're standing on tile, if you're standing on wood,
hard surfaces that we really weren't meant to stand on.
For long periods in pregnancy, absolute recipe for plantar fasciitis and some other types of foot issues. So at least
even just like achiness in the arches and stuff.
Sometimes it's heel pain. Right? Like if you've ever had any of these issues before pregnancy, don't even mess with it. But even if you've never had foot issues, so it can just be a slipper. You know, it can just be something with a little bit of cushion. But even like a pair of like Birkenstock type sandals that have a little bit of arch support built in. Outside of pregnancy, I don't recommend blanket arch support for everyone. But inside of pregnancy, we kind of do. First trimester, you'll probably be fine. Maybe even into second, but third trimester, having some foot support most of the time is probably going to be really helpful.
And it's not forever. Postpartum, obviously we're going to rebuild our strength back into our feet. That relaxing is going to come out of our system. But for the first couple of weeks, like into the 12-ish plus weeks postpartum, it can be really, it's just one more thing that you don't have to do in postpartum if you have some supportive shoes.
And I feel like I'm, probably 2/3 or more of our patients are coming in something where I'm like, you could just wear those.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be fancy, right? Like you already have these. Make them your inside shoes. Because a lot of people don't wear shoes in the house. Like fair enough. I try not to ever wear outside shoes into the house and pack them in. I'm like, so get yourself a pair of indoor shoes or clean these up and these become your indoor shoes. I'm somebody who's always cold, so I'm typically wearing slippers through the winter anyway. In the summer is where it gets me. We now have tile in our house, like a lot more tile than we've ever had in a previous house. And so even in the first month, I was like, we moved in the summer, so I don't care that the tile's not warm. I was like, why do my feet hurt so much? And that's all it was. So now I have house shoes now. Which we talked about the other day. Sometimes I get to the store in my house shoes and I'm like, oh, because don't mind my hot pink slides. Nobody cares. But my brain is like, your feet are covered. Let's go. But yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive, but something on your feet most of the time. Socks aren't going to cut it.
No.
Because it's not really about warmth. It's about support.
It's about support. Yep. Absolutely. Yay. Oh, cool. Well, it's a big episode. Sorry it's a little bit longer, everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's important we can say all the things that we recommend, but I also love how we educate on it and we explain the why behind it.
Yes. Yeah. And then you can decide if these are products that you want or need.
Yep.
And make those decisions.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yep.
All right. As always, any questions, pop them in the comments if you have them. We always look at them if there are comments, and we always want to address them in our episodes. So just let us know. Give us a like, give us a share, all the kinds of things. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. If you found today's episode helpful, you can subscribe, share it with a friend, or leave a review. It helps this podcast reach the families who need it most. You can find us at Belly Bliss in Denver and online for resources, workshops, and support. Until next time, take care of your body and trust its wisdom.